Hi. So we've practiced counting in fives. Now we're going to look a little bit closer at our 5 times tables. Are you ready? Now first, I want to ask you a little bit of a question. Do you know what this symbol means in maths? When you're doing your maths, what does that symbol mean? Great. It means times tables. It means we're looking at or we're practicing our times tables. There we go. But it also has another meaning. Do you know what the other meaning is, which can help us with our times tables? The other meaning is groups of. This symbol also means groups of. Groups of. Now you can write this down on your piece of paper or in your book just to help remind you. So this symbol, there are 2 meanings. One of the meanings is times tables, and another meaning is groups of. So when we see a sum like this, let's say we're doing, let's think of a simple sum. Let's do 3 times or 3 groups of 5. 3 groups of 5. Now we're going to answer that in a little while. We're not going to answer it just yet. But I just wanted to write it just to help remind you that this symbol here means, what does it mean? It means times or groups of. Now to help us, I'm going to use the words groups of just to help us. So let's read this as a number sentence. 3 groups of 5 equals. Should we do that one more time? Because you're quite good at that. 3 groups of 5 equals. And then we'll write our answer in the box. Fantastic. Now let's have a look at our times tables. And we're going to use our times tables to find out how many blocks we have. So, let me just change my pen. Just change that 1 minute. So, 1 group of 5 equals 5, because this is our first group. So 1 group of, or groups of 5 equals 5, because we're just looking at 1 group. Now this is our second group. So we could write 2 groups of 5 equals. Now if we're looking at both of these groups, how many are in both of these groups? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 groups of 5 is 10. Now we're going to do 3 groups of 5. 3 groups of 5. Now we're looking at 3 groups. So we're going to add this group as well. 3 groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 3 groups of 5 equals 15. Now we're going to think about our 4th group. So we're going to include all 4 groups, okay? So let's write this in a number sentence. 4 groups of 5, because each row has 5 groups. So 4 groups of 5 is, should we count them? If we add on another 5, what do you think it would be? So from 15, if we add on another 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 4 groups of 5 is 20. When we're doing our times tables, we have to think about what we already know. We don't have to count everything. We can think about what we already know. So if we know that 4 groups of 5 is 20, we can easily work out what 5 groups of 5 is. And we're going to do that by adding on another 5. So here we're on 20. We're going to add another 5. So can you put 20 in your head and count on 5? You can put 5 on your fingers if you want to, or you can use the blocks on the screen. So let's go. 20 in your head, counting on 5. Here we go. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 5 groups of 5 is, you guessed it, 25. Now again, we're going to use the information that we already know. We know that 5 groups of 5 is 25. So, what do we think 6 groups of 5 is? What number do we think we're going to count on from? We can count on from 25. Here we go. 6 groups of 5. Counting on from 25, we're going to count on 5. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So 6 groups of 5 makes, you guessed it, 30. We've counted all of these groups. We've done ever so much counting, haven't we? But we're going to continue. You're doing ever so well. Now we're on our 7th group, because you can see 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, 6 groups. We're now on our 7th group of 5. So we're going to write it as a number sentence. 7 groups of 5. Now let's work it out. We're not going to count all of these blocks because that would take us ages. But what we can do is go back to our 6 times 5, which we know is 30. And we're going to add, how much are we going to add? We're going to add on a number 5. Fantastic. Because when we're counting our 5s, we're simply adding on 5 each time. Here we go. So from 30, let's add on 5. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. Fantastic, great counting, brilliant. Now, we know that 7 groups of 5, because we've got 7 groups of 5 blocks, 7 groups of 5 is 35. That can help us to also work out 8 groups of 5. 8 groups of 5. If 7 groups of 5 is 35, let's use 8 groups of 5. We're going to start from 35 and we're going to add on another 5 because we're counting in 5s, okay? Here we go, we're counting in groups of 5. So we're going to go from 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Absolutely brilliant. Let's write in number 40. There we go. Now, we're almost there. We're on 9 groups of 5. 9 groups of 5. Without us counting, can you guess what 9 groups of 5 is? Let's use the information we already know. We know that in our 5 times tables, all of the numbers end, let's write that down, all of the numbers end in a 5 or 0. All of the numbers end in a 5 or 0. So, what do you think 9 times 5 is? Use the information we already know. It's got to be larger than 40. It's got to be greater than 40. We're adding on 5. What's the answer? The answer is 45. Because 8 times 5 is 40, 9 times 5, it has to be 45. So when it comes to maths, we can use what we already know to help us work out questions. Let's do another one. Let's do 10 times 5. Nice and easy. Here we go. Now remember, in our 5 times tables, all of the numbers end in 5 or 0. So 10 times 5, 10 groups of 5 is 50. We simply added on another 5. You can use the blocks to help you, or you can use your fingers. Let's do another one. We're going to move on to 11 times 5. 11 times 5. Now remember, our number must end in a 5 or a 0. We know that 10 times 5 equals 50. So 11 times 5 must equal, can you guess or can you work it out? It must equal 55. Now for the next one, we're going to use the blocks to help us count as well, okay? So the last one is 12 times 5 is. What do we think 12 times 5 is? We're going to use our blocks to help us count, okay? 12 times 5. We know that 11 times 5 is 55. So we're going to add on another, what number are we going to add on? Yeah, we're going to add on another 5 because we're counting in groups of 5. So 12 times 5. Let's count on from 55, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and the last number is 60. Fantastic. Here we go. Let's write in 60. Can you believe that we've done all of our 5 times tables? You've worked ever so hard. Now we're just going to count them. Should we just count our times tables? Should we go through our 5 times tables? Are you ready? We're going to go 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 5 is 30. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 5 is 40. 9 times 5 is 45. 10 times 5 is 50. 11 times 5 is 55. And 12 times 5 is 60. Fantastic. Let's do it one more time, and we're simply going to count the numbers in our 5 times tables. We won't do our number sentences this time. We're just going to count the numbers in our 5 times tables. Are you ready? Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and the last one, 60. Absolutely brilliant. Here's my nice big smiley face. You've done absolutely fantastic. Really well done. But before you go anywhere, I have a little question. Remember, at the start, we wrote 3 times 5 is something. We have to work it out. We can't just leave it blank, can we? So let's use the information that we already have, because we did our times tables really, really well. Now we've got 1 times 5. We've got 1 times 5, 2 times 5, 3 times 5. Oh, that's the one that we're looking for. We're looking for 3 times 5. Can you see the answer? What is 3 times 5? What is 3 groups of 5? I'm going to circle the answer, shout it out. 3 times 5 is 15. Brilliant. Let's pop it in our little box. 3 times 5 is 15. Fantastic. You've done ever so well. I'm just going to put some hair on my little smiley face. That's perfect. Okay, great. I'll see you on the next one.